Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It's Sunday, and we finished service, and we also had like a reception that we always do after service. And if we have to, we go out to the streets to feed some homeless people. Yeah. So today I am here with the part two of my how I met and married my Mr. Right, my husband. Okay. So if you have not seen the part one, it's on my YouTube page and it's also on my Instagram page. My Instagram, I am at Pastor Joyce Gbadebo, and on YouTube, I'm Joyce Gbadebo. That might be changing soon, but for now, it's Joyce Gbadebo on YouTube. Okay, so the part two of my story is I'm talking about how I met and married my husband. Okay, the very first time I met him, we were serving in the children's church, the church that we go to or we used to go to as singles. All right, so now how did I join the children's church? I grew up serving in a service group, like when I was a teenager, I joined the children's church. And when I went to school, that's to university, I also joined the choir. I joined the choir. I don't know. I think I said something else earlier. But when I was in children's church, I joined the choir, and when I left home to go to university, I also joined the choir. And sometimes choir rehearsals would take late into the night to hold. And so as a result, being in school, I had a group of girls that we went together, like myself and two of my roommates. We went together, so we were always in company of each other, even working, at home at night. And so finishing university and going back home, my dad was not having it easy, walking from the bus stop to the house. The area was not very opened yet, and so he was very scared, and I just wanted to give him peace. I decided I wasn't going to do choir anymore. And so that I have to sit down at home. I have to sit down in church and not be in a service unit. So I did not feel comfortable. It felt like fish out of water for me, to sit down on Sunday, just go warm the bench and go to service during the week, warm the bench. Week in, week out, I was just warming the bench. I felt uncomfortable with that. So that some Sunday I prayed and I spoke to God about the way I was feeling about not being in a service unit, and that I couldn't continue in the choir because I did not want my father to, have an hypertension or something because I was not coming home early from choir rehearsals. And so during the announcement, the pastor stepped up on the podium and said, or the pulpit, and said that the children's church were looking for teachers if you wanted to volunteer with the children's church. And I was like, cool, that is nice. If I join the children's church, I come to church in the morning with my dad and I leave with him in the afternoon after service. I was like, that's nobody's gonna have an hypertension. So I joined the children's church. And with joining the children's church, you had to serve in all classes, more like your orientation and your training. And then as time went on, after all that, you will now be posted to a certain class. So I went through all the classes. They were age 10, age 9, 8, 7. It's a large church. Even the babies class, you went through all the classes. And then on the last day of my going around and I was going to be posted, the brother in charge asked me, he said, so what class was your favorite? I said that I don't have a favorite, but that I want somewhere where I can also use my voice, like I can sing. And then he was like, okay, good. And then he assigned me to the age 10 class. That I was musically inclined and that they should use that gift and send that notes out to the head over there. And so that was how I joined the children's church age 10. This was 2007. No, was it 7? 2006. Yeah, 2006. Towards the end of 2006. I'm right. So I started serving there, and I was put in charge of the choir. I think there used to be a choir, and then it kind of dissolved, and so I came back, and my job was to revive the choir and also serve as a teacher in the church. So we did, or I did, we did anyway. So one day, probably in, let me say, between January and May or April, we were having a meeting. Children's church teachers were having a meeting, and this brother had a testimony. It was like a group, I think it was actually a class teachers meeting. So if you were in H10, if you were an H10 teacher, the H10 teachers met to have a meeting. And so this brother had traveled and came back, and he had a testimony. He went to a neighboring country in Africa. Now all this was happening in Nigeria, okay? So this brother went to a neighboring country, and he came back with a testimony. He shared his testimony, and this brother's name is Brother David. So he shared his testimony, and he talked about how he was in a public transportation in this country where he had visited, and there was a crash. The car had somersaulted, and he was just maybe praying in tongues and shouting Jesus and all that stuff. And that after everything calmed down, people came and gave their life to Christ through him, because they believed that what he was saying, God had used those things to deliver them from a bad crash. And so he came back and shared his testimony. I think that was the very first time I knew that there was a brother in H10 that goes by the name David. Okay? And that was it. All this while I was still in a relationship that I talked about in the part 1 of this video I'm doing. And so after, anyways, we're still serving and all that stuff, and I had to go to where I schooled, Kwara State, to collect my transcript, because at that time I was working on my admission to another university to further my education. And so it was supposed to be Children's Day. May 27th is Children's Day. My birthday is May 26th. No wonder I'm a child at heart. Anyway, so I'd gone to that state, Kwara State, and like I said earlier on, I was teacher in charge of the children's church choir, H10. And so we had prepared something for presenting in the big church for Children's Day. Because Children's Day, they expected children to come and present, sing, do all sorts of drama and all that stuff. So my class was going to sing, and I was part of the people that prepared them for that. And then I wasn't there. So, and because it was my birthday, it was actually the 26th was my birthday, being a Sunday. And I must have traveled on the 25th, being a Saturday. Okay? And that 25th, I ended that relationship I had before. And on the 26th, being a Sunday, and I wasn't in church with my choir, and it was my birthday, my teachers had to call me. And so guess who they assigned to call me? You guessed right, Brother David. So Brother David takes the phone and not only wished me a happy birthday from all of them, stylishly asked why I was in Kwara State on my birthday. He said something like this: "Are you going to celebrate your birthday with bro?" A lot of you knows what bro means. It means your intended. That means the brother that you are dating, intended to marry. And I laughed and said, No, no, bro. Okay? Like I said, just yesterday, the other day, I ended the relationship with bro. So you see, timing. It's called perfect timing. All right? So, Brother David goes with that message and ran with it. Amen? He ran with it. Anyways, he comes. Okay, so I come back to. I must have spent a couple more days after my birthday in Kwara State to get what I needed. And I went back to my state of origin or my state of birth. And for those of you that don't know, maybe I shouldn't put this in, but let me tell you, I am the real elevator baby. I was born in an elevator. That story for another day. Anyways, I went back to Lagos and my service continued in the children's church and all that. And I want to think that somewhere around June, because my birthday is ending of May, okay? So brother knows already that she doesn't have a bro, okay? So come June, he calls me and says, can we meet in an eatery or in a fast food restaurant? So I braced myself one day and we met, okay? We met and bro was waiting. My brother David was waiting for me. So I get there and I sat down, bottle of drink and maybe a snack. And then the question that the brother of the Holy Ghost will ask me is, can you marry me? And my heart immediately pounded very loud and faster. If everywhere was quiet, you would have heard it pound. So I said to him, I don't know. And then he asks me, he said, how old are you? And then when he said that, right after he said, can you marry me? And look, he said, can. That means, is it possible that you marry me? And then he asked me, how old are you? And then I thought within me, I'm like, for him to have asked me, can you marry me? And then ask me my age, could he be so old that he's considering maybe I'm too young, or will I be able to, And then I told him my age. I think he also told me his age. But I told him that I don't know if I could marry him, that we are not friends. I don't know him. And then my brother said, I give you 2 weeks to make up your mind. Making up my mind in 2 weeks. He tells me, I give you 2 weeks to make up your mind. I just said, okay. And then I left. He left. And from time to time, he will call me to say hi. I will say hi. And it's like, I don't know, it's like my dad kind of knew that I was trying to avoid somebody's call. And then it's when you had landlines in the house. And then if he calls the landline and I hear it ring, I start heading out the door and my dad is calling me, Osariebe, come and answer your call. And then I will come and I will answer, So it's a long story, guys. There might have to be a part 3 to this. I don't want you to stay here and watch the whole thing when you can always come back for the part 3. Anyways, that was how he asked me out. And I was still trying to make up my mind in the 2 weeks he gave me. I wasn't taking him like he wasn't serious, but I just wanted to understand if, he was the one for me. Because considering I just ended the relationship maybe about 2 or 3 weeks before then, and I just wanted to be alone, be by myself, and just maybe grow some more and just be single for a while before I now decide to get mingled with somebody. And then right away, my brother here is asking me if I could marry him. All right, so I think I wouldn't let this pass some more time. I'm just gonna come back pretty soon, maybe right away for the part 3. Thank you for watching. God bless you.